Hello lovelies, welcome to my channel. It's Hila here, Saturday Night Stitch, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, my name is Hila. I love all things sewing related, and I have been a self-taught seamstress for the last 14 years now, and I sew for myself, my husband, my family, and this channel is primarily dedicated to keeping the sewing inspiration and sewing joy going. So be sure to subscribe for more inspirational sewing videos. Today's video, I have a real treat for you. I have a fabric haul, which is really exciting because I've got some fabrics that I'm looking forward to making in autumn, and some of them are sort of like the end of summer sale items that I picked up, as well as a couple of sewing patterns that I picked up during a sale. So let's dive straight into it. So the first thing that I want to show you is some crepe fabric that I picked up during a Minerva 20% off sale. Now, I have purchased a Minerva Craft Club membership, which I think is really great value because that gives you an extra 10% off even the sale prices, and just 10% off during the like off of a normal price, and you get it for the full year. And so I tend to renew it, particularly when I'm thinking, oh, I need to do a lot more sewing around plugging some gaps in my wardrobe. So I got these for 30% off, and I think that was a pretty good value. So this is a John Calder fabric, and I love this fabric. It's called a Florence crepe fabric, and it's got this slubby texture, which is really lovely. I have, for some of the eagle-eyed amongst you, you might have noticed that this is similar to one that I had before with a khaki background in a khaki colorway. And I made that into a soft-drafted dress, which I absolutely love. And when I saw that they only had this left, I decided to get it. And the plan is to make an everyday seamstress the blouse, which is this really lovely blouse that has elasticated cuffs, which just looks great with skirts. I got 1.5 meters, which will be enough for me to make that sort of a blouse. Now, you're probably thinking, but Hila, these are not your colors. Indeed, they're not quite my colors, but the plan is that this is going to be an autumn winter blouse that I wear with my skirts, and I will have a turtleneck underneath, but at least I'm going to have some lovely jubbly flowers. So I just want to have some flowers in my autumn winter wardrobe. I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of just having no flowers in my autumn winter wardrobe, and this is an attempt to rectify that. So that was the first thing that I got. A flight of whimsy, probably. Is it going to work out? I hope so. Now the next one, I did that over this one for a really long time, but eventually I just thought, you know what, I have spent so much mental real estate thinking about should I not, that I probably should just go the whole hog and just get it, especially since this is a print that is running out and it looks like they're not going to be doing this print anymore. And this is the craze. So again, this is another John Calder thing, and it's a cotton twill. I think it's a twill. It's in a twill weave. I bought 3 meters of this because I eventually made the decision that I was going to use this fabric to make a Simplicity 8447 Rosie the Riveter coveralls, which I really love. I made a pair and I really like them, but they've got a lot of butts for them, and the butts are very easy to fix. So butt number one is just the fact that the buttons are at the back, which requires a lot of contortionism in order to take it off, which you have to do every time you go to the bathroom and every time you want to take it off or put it on. So there's a lot of contortioning in order to get to the buttons, which are down here. The other but that it has is the pockets. It doesn't have functional pockets. It has some really cute dainty pockets, and I need pockets that actually work. So I want to put some hip yoke pockets, and I'm going to move those buttons from the back to the front. So I decided that I was going to go for it because it's something, even though I tell myself that it doesn't work, I always end up wearing that Rosie the Riveter coverall because it does fill a particular gap in my wardrobe, which is when I've got some hard wearing things that I need to do, whether that's doing stay and play with the toddlers and I have to get onto my hands and feet a lot and I have to deal with Play-Doh, glitter and things like that. It works for those situations, whilst I also look kind of cute because I also wanted to look a little bit cute in my day-to-day life. So enter wild cranes here, which I just thought would be really perfect, particularly going into autumn. The fabric itself has got just the teeniest bit of stretch, which made me tempted to make it into some sort of a fit and flare dress because I think that that would work really well. But I'm stuck firm that I must make it into the Rosie the Riveter one with all of the butts cancelled out. Now, the print is much bigger than I expected. I have to say, in the pictures, I thought that the print would be smaller, but it's actually quite a big print. As you can see, this is my hand, and each crane is nearly the size of my hand, so it is bigger than I expected. So that was fabric number 2 from Minerva. Fabric number 3 is part of my Minerva brand Ambassador Makes, and it's a fabric that I chose because it's one of their newer substrate, which is, I think it is a Ecovera cotton twill. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, but all of the links will be in the description box down below. And it's a really bright, really bright, really vibrant fabric. Now, the best way to describe this fabric, if you've never had it, is it reminds me of, you know, the fine needle cord fabric, but it's just a little bit finer than the finest needle cord fabric that you can get without it being corduroy, if that makes sense. So it has a texture, which, can I get my camera to focus? Not sure if you can see it, but it has a little texture that you get from the fact that it's a twill weave and it's a little bit diagonal. Very subtle, but is very lovely. Now, I really like this, but it was just a little bit too much for me, given that I want to make it into some sort of a maxi dress. So I went around looking for a contrasting fabric in a similar weight and a twill weave as well, so that I could use that to sort of bring it down a bit, just to anchor the pattern and the print and the color into just a little bit more solidity, because I like doing that with my garments. So if you look at this dress that I'm wearing, it is an eye-cut print, but I used the black for the neckline and I used the black for the cuff, and I think that that gives it boundaries for where the eye can sort of land on, versus if you just didn't have that. So, and it's just something that I like to do, almost I guess like a little signature thing that I do in my sewing. So I have this, and I got 1/4 meter of this, which should be enough. I think I've narrowed it down to 2 particular patterns that I want to use. One is a maxi dress pattern from, I think, September 2012 Burda, which has a bit of a bib front and a little collar, and I'd be using that for the bib and the collar. But recently Patrone's, the October issue, just dropped, and it has some stunning garments in there as well as coats, and there's a particular dress, a maxi dress in there that has some princess seams and a nice, very neat cute, very neat collar, which fits in so much with the soft gamine principles that I try to abide by when I'm dressing myself. So it's quite tapered here and it's tapered here, and then it's nice and long, and it goes in at the waist with waist emphasis, and it's really gorgeous. So I now have those 2 that I have to choose what to do with this one. So it's nice. I think it's good when things work out like that and you've actually got an option. So these are very much winter specific, autumn specific rather. And so the next one, it's more of a summer fabric, a summer dress fabric, which I picked up from Rainbow's Fabrics. Now, It's this linen mix fabric, which is really lovely. The stripe pattern runs along the selvage. So this, if I hold it up like this is the cross grain, but this is the straight grain. And the idea is just to make a simple sundress out of this. It's a really lovely fabric. So the problem is, as with Rainbow's fabrics, they sell a lot of dead stock fabrics. And initially they had this in a navy blue and a white. And I really liked the navy blue and the white. I added them to the basket. I did it. And by the time I came back to it 4 hours later, they were sold out of the navy blue and white. And so I ended up getting the sage green, of which sage green is technically speaking within my colors. It doesn't quite have the same high contrast that the navy blue and the white would have had, but it will still make a really nice, elegant sundress. I think I'm thinking something that just has some straps like that and a square bodice, and then it's just free flowing, which I think would work really well for Italian holidays. And just because I don't always just think about myself when it comes to sewing, the next fabric is to make my husband a summer shirt. After the debacle with the last shirt that I made him wearing, I made so many mistakes and I ended up making it just a smidge too small for him. He fits into it just perfectly, but literally any fluctuation in weight and it won't fit. I feel like I really need to redeem my honor. So I got the Art Gallery fabric see if I can say this correctly, Floralish. And it's the watermelons print. I love this fabric so much. It's a cotton poplin and it has the cutest, daintiest watermelon print against an optical white background. I have made myself a shirt with this before. I think about 5 years ago, I made an Archer shirt with it, which I'm ever so precious about. I love wearing it and I'll wear it with my blue jeans and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I know that my husband is going to love this because one of his favorite shirts that I've made him is the watermelons shirt, except for it's against a navy background. And I thought that this one would be a perfect addition in summer because it has the white background. So I will be using this to make him a shirt, and it is going to be the right size. I'm not going to be listening to any audio books. I'm just going to be focused on making the shirt, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when it is done. This one, I picked it up when Minerva were doing an Art Gallery fabric sale, so it was nicely discounted, and on top of my Minerva Craft Club membership, I got an extra 10% off. So those are the fabrics. Very exciting sewing plans with the fabrics as well. So yay! Let's dive into the sewing patterns now. So there were a few sewing patterns that I'd been keeping an eye on, and to be fair, I got quite a lot of fabrics for myself, but to balance that out, I got some sewing patterns for other people besides myself. So the first one is for my girls, and this is a new look. This was during the new look half price sale, and it is new look 6727, which I'm a bit biased because this is probably my little inner girl would have loved to dress like this when I was younger. So it's sleeveless, it's got the collar, and it's a shirt dress. Summer for my girls, hopefully I'll be able to make this in summer for my girls. It goes up to age 14, so I have plenty of time to be able to make this. So quite happy with this one. And then also another one for the girls, but this one is more of autumn winter, and I like the idea of creating them an entire outfit. It's got the leggings, it's got the pinafore dress, and it has got a cute little cropped jacket. The recommended fabrics are all stretch fabrics, so pontes, etc. So yeah, and again, this one goes up to 16, so this is from age 8 to 16, so I should have this for several years, which should be quite useful. And then the other thing that I got was another Jali pattern, which is 3242, and it's the underpants pattern. So this is for the whole family. So I have decided, after much thinking for years now, I've been thinking about this for years and contemplating and arming and ahhing, and I've decided I'm going to take the dive into making underwear, not just for myself, but for my family. So the first thing I did was I started looking around for different patterns, and I've used Jelly patterns before. They're really good. They go the whole range from toddler all the way up to like triple XL. So you are completely covered. So it's good bang for your buck. And then the next thing that I did was I bought some of the sewing elastic. So I got that off of AliExpress, and I got a lot of it, and I got it in nude color and black. And so I should be sorted to get started on that. And I picked this up during the Minerva VIP weekend so that it was all discounted, which is great for me, and as well as on top of the Craft Club membership as well. So those are the fabrics that I have for now, and those are, roughly speaking, some of my sewing plans for that, although I do have to do a sewing plans video separately for autumn, because I've realized that I have some major gaps that I need to fill within my autumn wardrobe. And I only realized that when I was putting away my summer clothes, which I had to do a few weeks ago. I had to say goodbye to summer and say that it was so short. It was so short-lived. But then I realized that most of my clothes are more wintry and not quite autumnal. And currently our weather is not cold enough for me to need the winter clothes, but it's also not hot enough for me to wear the summer clothes. And so I've realized that there's a real gap there. I've sorted out my winter wardrobe is pretty much good. It's pretty much good, but I don't have a decent fall wardrobe. And so I'm looking at what the sort of basics and separates that I need to add into that in the weights of fabric. So I'm digging through my extensive fabric stash to just create a very small capsule of about 4 or 5 items that I can just sort of interchange and what have you. So I'll do a separate video about that, and I'm really excited because I do have some other video ideas I really want to share. I got a wardrobe harmony package done a couple of years ago, which has really been helping me to refine my style and make my sewing plans. And I think the time is right to now share it. I didn't want to share it when I just got it done, because it's like, it's just a product that would just be the equivalent of buying a book, but you haven't read it, and then you're telling everybody that you have this book. So it's been 2 years now, and I've been using this document, this extensive document, and I think it would be fun to talk about that. So that's another video that I'm planning on doing. Yeah, so all exciting stuff, and I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you've stayed until this long, I thank you. I really, really do appreciate you. You're really awesome, and you're a rock star. Please remember to smash the like button and hit the subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. And in the meantime, tell me, have you got your autumn looks sorted? Do you have any suggestions for somebody who lives in a climate that doesn't experience very, very cold autumns, and just sort of like a basic idea of what you have for autumn that still looks kind of cute, but it's not just, you know, leggings and what have you. Let's talk in the comments down below, and until I see you next time, lovelies, happy sewing. Bye. And separately, this is from Ottobury Design Women's, and it's called the Rosy Dreams dress, which, to be honest with you, I need to make another one because the fabric is just a little, it's a little bit faded. It used to be like a proper deep black, but it's still working for now. So there we go. And I tend to wear it with some tights and some boots, and then I'm sort of sorted.